Hi guys, welcome to today's video. My name's Debbie if you don't know me, and just before I get into today's video I just want to say a massive thank you for the response to my previous video when I talked about starting my channel. You guys are so supportive, so lovely, it means the world to me. But getting into today's video and what we're here for, it's a 3 looks 1 palette using this palette, the Makeup Addiction Cosmetics Meadow palette. I've already done a first impressions of the Meadow palette and the Fantasy Glow highlighter palette. I'll leave those up in the cards for you. But I wanted to do some more looks with this because it's such an interesting colour story, I think, to have in a palette together. And for having 8 shades, there's quite a lot you can do with this palette as well. So I wanted to do some more looks with it. It's not a new palette, it came out I think a couple of years ago, but it's still available on Beauty Bay's site. I think it's still at a discount on there as well. Don't quote me on that, but I paid £17 for mine and I've used every shade now and I'm really impressed with it. I'll talk through my thoughts on the individual shades at the end, but what I'm going to do is get you into the 3 looks so you can see how versatile this palette can really be. I have pulled in things like eyeliners but no other shadows, just stuck to the 8 shades that are in there, not used the highlighter palette in this video at all. So I'm going to jump you into the 3 looks and then, as I say, I'll catch up with you at the end to give you my thoughts. Okay, to start off look 1, I'm going in with the shade Dusk, which is the rusty orange red shade in the palette. One of my absolute favourites in this palette. I think it's such a beautiful tone to this shade. So I'm packing that into my outer V, building up the shadow to the intensity that I'm looking for and taking it up slightly into my crease because this is going to be a halo eye. I want it showing above my crease but not dragging it in too far into my crease, so just keeping it in that outer V area. Now I'm going in with a smaller fluffy brush, which is a fluffy pencil brush from Spectrum, and I'm going into the inner corner area, building up that pigment, doing the same on both eyes. So we started to create that basis for the halo shape that we're going to be creating. Really wanted to pack that on and build up the colour and not blend it out too much here. And then I'm just perfecting the outer corner there, and then going in with glitter glue. This is a NYX glitter primer on a flat shader brush, because I've found that my shimmers pop a lot more if I do that. Then I've got the shade Bronze Leaf, which is a beautiful gold shade. I'd say it's more gold than it is bronze, but it looks absolutely stunning on the eyes. This is my favourite shade in the palette. I love a good goldy, bronzy shade. Then I'm just packing over the shade Dusk over the edges, just tapping gently and blending a little bit just to blend those 2 shades together. And then doing the same on the other eye. I think you can see that shade a bit better on that eye. It's a bit better in focus, how bright and beautiful it is. Then I'm using the really light shade Sweet Peach, which is the pale matte in the palette, just to blend around the edges. And then going in again with Bronze Leaf on my lower lash line. I've been enjoying having a shimmery lower lash line just lately, which is something I don't do too often. And then to blend that out, I'm using the shade Dusk on a fluffier pencil brush than the one I used before. Also in my waterline was the pencil Goldmine by Urban Decay, and I finished off with a couple of coats of mascara and an Urban Decay Vice lipstick, and that's the finished look for look 1. For look 2, I'm going in with the shade Crushed Blueberry, which is the bluey grey shade in the palette, and quite a thick fluffy brush for this because I really wanted to pack the pigment into my crease. And when you're using shades like this, you really don't want to be blending out too much. I think you'll see later I did struggle a bit because I did that. So you really want to just pack the pigment down and keep it focused and where you want to build up the intensity and pack the shade on rather than blending. But I'm going in with an angled shader now by Spectrum to try and create this winged out shape that I'm enjoying at the moment. But I do find one of the hardest things to do in makeup, so I'll keep persevering to make this work. But Like just pulling out the shadow and creating that winged out V shape in the outer corner. But then when I do that, I feel like I lose the intensity then from the shade that I've already packed down. So that's why I'm going back over again with the same brush I started with to really make sure I haven't lost that pigment, because I wanted that to be really strong, because this is going to be a cut crease look. Then I'm blending out with the Sweet Peach shade, that really pale matte in the palette. And then, as I say, I do go backwards and forwards trying to get this how I want it to look. Then I'm cutting the crease here with my cut crease brush from Sigma and using the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. I think if I was to do this again, packing this over that blue crushed blueberry shade, I would have probably taken some of that blue shadow off of my lid with maybe a cotton bud soaked in some My Makeup Remover first, because it did drag some of the blue over my lid. But look at this pink shade and how opaque it is. The shade is called Pink Blossom, and I'm packing that over that concealer. I've gone in dry with that colour. I've not sprayed it or used any glitter glue or anything, but obviously the concealer's still a bit wet. But it's managed to cover all of that, and I didn't think it would because it's quite a pale shimmery shade, but really impressed with how that shadow performed. Not maybe as foiled as the bronze shade, but still equally beautiful. Then I'm packing that crushed blueberry shade again into my outer corner, but just on a really pointed fluffy brush to just focus it where I want it and try and blend it a little bit into that Pink Blossom shade. Then using the 24/7 liner pencil from Urban Decay in the shade Woodstock, I'm lining my waterline and lower lash line to give me a basis for what I want to do next. And then I'm packing over Pink Blossom using my angled lip brush from Urban Decay that you've seen me use a number of times for my lower lash line. And then, just because the look wasn't extra enough, I decided to add some glitter using the Stila Glitter and Glow in the shade Diamond Dust. Went on with the applicator first, and then I'm just perfecting it with a pencil brush just where the line of my cut crease meets. Some coats of mascara off camera finished the look, and I've got a Jeffree Star lip ammunition on my lips there. But that's the finished look for look number 2. For look 3, I'm using the Sweet Peach shade, so the really pale matte shade, just to create a bit of definition in my crease and to give me something to blend into. So this is going to be an old school blended kind of look, so I'm starting with quite a pale shade in my crease to build a foundation for the look. And then just to get some intensity into my outer corner, I'm dabbing on that shade Crushed Blueberry, and when I say dabbing, that's what I'm doing. I'm just pressing that shade into my outer corner and circular sort of motions to blend that in, and I've gone ultra light, just literally pressing it onto the pan before applying it, so not picking up too much colour at all. And to be honest, I'm really impressed with the dark mattes in this palette in terms of fallout, because when you look at how dark this blue is, and I had no fallout at all doing these looks at all, so that's just something to bear in mind. And I'm taking that now onto the inner third outer edge, as it were, of my lower lash line. And then I'm taking the colour Slate Green, which is the bluey greeny grey duochrome shade, and this one really surprised me how beautiful it is. I did wet the brush with Fix Plus, but I didn't use glitter glue on this one because I wanted to make sure I could blend it well with other shades, so I didn't want it to get too sticky. So then I used the shade Poison Ivy, which is a metallic green in the palette, and packed that into my inner corner and blended it into the slate green shade that we've already laid down. I'm just using a brush with no additional product just to try and blend that into the transition area into the shade Sweet Peach we'd laid down already. Then going in with the 24/7 liner pencil in the shade Chaos with Urban Decay in my waterline, and then setting that with the Crushed Blueberry shade. I've packed the shade Sandstone in my inner corner as an inner corner highlight, and I'm just finishing off with a couple of coats of Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, And I've got an Anastasia lipstick here. The shade is Stevie, one of my favourite shades from them. And that's the finished look for look 3. Okay guys, so that's the looks. Which was your favourite? Please comment down below and let me know. I'd love to know what of my looks you're enjoying, maybe what you would like to create for yourself. It's always really interesting to know what you like, what your preferences are as well. I love doing cut creases, but I also tried in this video to do 3 different techniques really, so halo eye, cut crease, and then a bit more of a blended look, so that I'm catering to what everybody might like really. So let me know what you prefer. I know we've all got different makeup taste anyway, but my thoughts on the shadows in the looks. So I've noticed on the back of this palette you've got all the shade names, but they're not on the front, so I think it might just be easier for me to just point to the shades that I'm talking about and tell you about them. So in my first look I used the orange matte, so this one here, and really beautiful matte, really nice tone of orange, super blendable, super easy to work with. Also used in that look the gold shade and pat that over glitter glue. Got a really good effect by doing that, and it made it really foiled, really gorgeous. So I'm always looking for a gold that looks like super impactful and foiled, and I don't think I really need to look any further. The tone of that one is just beautiful, so I'm really pleased with that. If I didn't use anything else and only picked it up for that, I'd be happy. So that was nice. Then in look 2 I used that dark bluey grey matte. Had a few problems with patchiness building that up. I think it's because I was trying to wing out the shape but also keep the intensity, so it's more my application style I think, because in this look today I've used it again and I had no issues. I've used it in a different technique as more of like an accent shade, and I think it worked better for that than trying to really build it up and smoke it out. But I think that's really that I'm not that great with working with these sort of colours and blending them. They don't blend easily with skin, so I think the darker shades like that, black not so much, but I find blues and dark greens I do struggle to blend them, and it's perhaps better not to blend them out too much because you're never going to get them seamless with skin anyway. But I used the pink shade, that one, to create my cut crease with, and I thought it went on really nicely. And I jazzed up the look with Steeler's Glittering Glowing Diamond Dust, but I didn't need to add any glitter. That was just optional really, but I just love a bit of sparkle, so decided to do that. But really love how that one came out. I think today's was my favourite though, and the reason for that was this shade here, which is a blue into grey into green duochrome. So pretty. If I scooch in, you might be able to see again a little bit. It's in the centre of my lids there, and it plays so well with that green as well. So it's a cohesive colour scheme. You can do a lot with it for only having 8 shades. The only thing I would say that would improve things for me is maybe not to have that matte shade. I did use it as a blending out shade, and I used it as a crease shade as well in this look, but I've got lots of that kind of shade, and I think if you've got a lot of makeup like me, you may well agree with me that this kind of shade is in a lot of palettes, and it's a good lid setting shade or blending out shade, but I've got a lot of those. So I think it would have been more versatile a palette, even more so than it is now, if there was either a green matte or perhaps a pink matte to play off of the blues and greens, or maybe off of the pink. I think that would have enabled you to take it in a different direction, because I often think the crease colour is what sets the tone for how your look is going to end up, and the sort of colour story of that look. So for me, that would have made it even better. But I'm super impressed with the brand, with the quality, and I picked this up for £17 in the sale on Beauty Bay. I believe it's still available, as I say, so if you want to pick it up, it's still there. I know in the comments on my last video, one of you said that you had picked it up, so I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am, and I hope I inspired you with the looks that I've created, and that it's encouraged you to play with it a bit and get a bit experimental with the palette and see what you can come up with. I know I definitely want to create some more looks with it. There's probably 3 or 4 more looks that I've got in mind that I could do with this palette. So happy that I got it, and I hope you enjoyed seeing me create the looks, guys. I also hope that you maybe consider subscribing before you go if you're new here, But other than that, I hope you're having a fabulous day and catch you soon, guys. Bye.